Imagine standing in the African savanna 2 million years ago, watching the sun disappear behind distant hills. Darkness brings a different kind of terror than the one you know from modern documentaries. This isn't the roar of a lion or the approach of a saber-toothed cat. This is something worse, something that thinks, coordinates, and hunts with intelligence that mirrors your own. From the shadows emerges a creature standing 5 feet tall at the shoulder, twice the size of any baboon alive today. Its eyes gleam with predatory intent, and its massive jaws reveal canines designed for tearing flesh. This is Dinopithecus, the carnivorous giant baboon that hunted our ancestors through the Pleistocene darkness. For early humans, this wasn't just another predator. This was an intelligent nightmare that understood how we thought and exploited our weaknesses. A world of ice and fire. The Pleistocene epoch stretched from 2.5 million to 11,700 years ago. This period witnessed Earth cycling through dramatic environmental transformations that reshaped continents and redefined life. Ice ages advanced and retreated in millennia-long rhythms, locking vast quantities of water in massive glaciers. Sea levels dropped, exposing land bridges that allowed species migrations across previously separated continents. South Africa, though never buried under glacial ice, felt the profound effects of global cooling. Climate patterns shifted with each ice age, transforming landscapes from verdant forests to sprawling grasslands. Aridity increased during glacial maximums as precipitation patterns changed and temperatures dropped. Rivers that once flowed year-round became seasonal, forcing all life to adapt or perish. For early humans struggling to survive in these volatile landscapes, every environmental shift brought new challenges. When forests shrank, traditional food sources disappeared, forcing dietary changes and behavioral adaptations. Grasslands expanded, creating open spaces where predators could spot prey from tremendous distances. Water became scarce during prolonged droughts, concentrating both predators and prey around shrinking waterholes where violent confrontations became inevitable. The hominins inhabiting these landscapes were not yet the sophisticated toolmakers we associate with later human cultures. Their stone tools remained rudimentary, simple flakes and choppers that required tremendous skill to use effectively. Fire mastery came gradually, and for countless generations, early humans faced nights without protection from its deterrent power. They were vulnerable, still developing the cognitive abilities and social structures that would eventually make them dominant. These early humans lived as hunter-gatherers, constantly moving to follow seasonal resources. Edible plants, fruits, and nuts provided crucial nutrition when available. But seasonal variability meant reliable food sources disappeared for months at a time. During these lean periods, hunting became necessary for survival. But hunting required coordination, planning, and weapons that could bring down prey from safe distances. The Pleistocene wasn't just challenging because of environmental harshness. The real terror came from the creatures sharing these landscapes, predators that had evolved for millions of years to exploit any weakness. The Carnivorous Ape. Among the predators stalking Pleistocene South Africa, one stood apart for its combination of intelligence, strength, and hunting strategy. Dinopithecus wasn't a typical predator like lions or hyenas. This was a primate, closely related to modern baboons, but evolved into something far more dangerous. An intelligent predator that understood social behavior because it possessed similar social structures itself. Males reached approximately 1.5 meters tall at the shoulder, nearly 5 feet of pure muscle and aggression. To understand how massive this was, consider that the largest modern baboons barely reach half that height. Dinopithecus wasn't just larger, it was built like a different creature entirely, with proportions suggesting power rather than the agility of smaller primates. But size alone doesn't explain why Dinopithecus terrorized early humans. What made this creature uniquely dangerous was its diet. While modern baboons are omnivores, happily consuming plants, insects, and occasional meat. Dinopithecus had evolved toward dedicated carnivory. Fossil evidence suggests its diet consisted of approximately 98% meat, an astonishing specialization for a primate. This dietary shift transformed Dinopithecus from opportunistic omnivore to active predator. Its jaws were massively powerful, capable of crushing bones to access nutrient-rich marrow. The canine teeth were elongated and razor-sharp, designed for puncturing hide and tearing flesh. Unlike the grinding molars of herbivorous primates, Dinopithecus possessed teeth adapted for shearing meat from bones. The muscular frame supported this predatory lifestyle. Powerful shoulders and arms could grapple with struggling prey. Strong legs provided both speed for pursuit and explosive power for lethal attacks. The combination created a predator equally dangerous in open grasslands and near forested edges, where it could exploit cover. What made encounters with Dinopithecus particularly terrifying for early humans was the creature's intelligence. This wasn't a mindless predator operating on pure instinct. Dinopithecus could observe, learn, and adapt. It understood that humans were vulnerable at certain times and in certain situations. It recognized that human young moved slower and couldn't fight back effectively. It learned to exploit human weaknesses systematically. Modern baboons, though smaller and less dangerous, provide windows into how Dinopithecus likely behaved. Contemporary baboon troops display remarkable coordination during hunts and territorial disputes. They communicate through complex vocalizations and gestures. They plan ambushes and execute them with precision. Alpha males lead coordinated attacks, while subordinates flank and cut off escape routes. Dinopithecus possessed all these capabilities magnified by its size and carnivorous specialization. Where modern baboons might harass and intimidate, Dinopithecus actively hunted. Where smaller primates might flee from determined resistance, Dinopithecus could press attacks until prey was subdued. Hunting strategies of a thinking predator. Understanding how Dinopithecus hunted requires examining both fossil evidence and behaviors observed in modern primates. The picture that emerges is deeply unsettling. A predator that combined animal ferocity with primate intelligence to create hunting strategies specifically designed to exploit human vulnerabilities. Dinopithecus likely lived in large social groups, similar to modern baboon troops. These groups operated under hierarchical structures with dominant males controlling access to resources and organizing collective activities. When hunting, the entire troop could participate, with different members playing specialized roles based on age, size, and ability. Dense vegetation and rocky terrain provided perfect ambush locations. Dinopithecus troops could spread out, surrounding potential prey before launching coordinated attacks from multiple directions simultaneously. Early humans, lacking the speed of antelope or the defensive weapons of rhinoceros, would have struggled to escape once surrounded by intelligent predators working in concert. The ability to climb and leap gave Dinopithecus additional tactical advantages. They could attack from elevated positions, dropping onto unsuspecting humans from trees or cliff faces. This three-dimensional attack capability meant humans couldn't feel safe even when watching their surroundings carefully. Danger could literally come from above without warning. Young humans represented particularly vulnerable targets. Children moved slower than adults, possessed less developed situational awareness, and couldn't defend themselves effectively. For Dinopithecus troops, hunting human children offered high reward with relatively low risk. The loss of juveniles devastated early human communities in ways beyond immediate tragedy. It eliminated the next generation and threatened long-term group survival. Night hunting posed perhaps the greatest terror. While most modern baboons are strictly diurnal, active only during daylight hours, some populations have been documented hunting nocturnally when circumstances favor it. Dinopithecus may have possessed similar flexibility, exploiting darkness to approach human camps undetected. Early humans, lacking reliable artificial light, would have been nearly helpless against attacks emerging from complete darkness. Fire provided the only real defense against nighttime predation. Once mastered, fire became humanity's most important tool for survival. The light deterred nocturnal predators, and the heat created a barrier most animals wouldn't cross. But fire required constant maintenance, fuel collection, ember preservation, and vigilant feeding. A fire going out during the night could mean death for an entire group. Even fire wasn't foolproof against an intelligent predator. Dinopithecus could learn to work around fire's protective radius, waiting for opportunities when humans ventured beyond the light to gather water or relieve themselves. The psychological warfare was relentless. Humans could never truly relax, even within supposedly safe areas. The turning point. For hundreds of thousands of years, Dinopithecus represented an existential threat to human populations across South Africa. But evolutionary pressures work in both directions. While Dinopithecus evolved to hunt humans more effectively, humans were evolving capabilities that would eventually reverse the predator-prey relationship entirely. The emergence of Homo erectus marked a crucial turning point. These hominins possessed significantly larger brains than their predecessors, enabling advanced tool-making, complex language, and sophisticated strategic thinking. They didn't just react to threats. They planned responses that extended across time and space. Fossil evidence from sites across Africa reveals the consequences of this cognitive revolution. Over 90 giant baboon skeletons, likely representing Dinopithecus or closely related species, show signs of deliberate hunting by Homo erectus between 450,000 and 700,000 years ago. Many of these baboons were juveniles, suggesting humans specifically targeted young individuals to reduce future population threats. This wasn't random violence. This was systematic predator control executed with intelligence that matched or exceeded Dinopithecus's own hunting strategies. Humans had figured out that eliminating juvenile predators prevented future threats more effectively than killing adults. Over generations, this selective hunting pressure reduced Dinopithecus populations across their range. Tool technology advanced dramatically during this period. Early crude choppers gave way to more sophisticated implements. Hand axes with carefully worked edges, wooden spears with fire-hardened points, and eventually projectile weapons that allowed humans to kill from distance. Each technological advancement shifted the balance of power further toward humans. But tools alone don't explain human success. What truly transformed humans from prey to apex predator was social organization combined with something unique: vengeance. When Dinopithecus or any other predator killed a human, the victim's group didn't simply mourn and move on. They pursued revenge. Groups would track predators for days, coordinating hunts that involved dozens of individuals working toward a single goal: killing the creature that had harmed their community. This behavior sent powerful messages to other predators watching from the edges. Humans were dangerous not just because they could defend themselves, but because attacking them triggered organized retaliation that often proved lethal. Word of this behavior spread through observation and experience. Predators that survived encounters with human groups learned to avoid them. Those that didn't learn didn't survive to pass on their genes. Over millennia, natural selection favored predators that recognized humans as threats rather than prey. The rise of the apex. The evolutionary arms race between Dinopithecus and early humans ultimately ended with human dominance, but victory wasn't predetermined. Humans possessed advantages that, when combined, created something no other species could match. Free hands represented the first major advantage. Bipedalism freed human hands from locomotion duties, allowing them to carry tools, weapons, and resources while moving. This portability meant humans could respond to threats quickly without first retrieving weapons from distant caches. A human group under attack could grab spears and coordinate defense within seconds. Opposable thumbs enabled precision manipulation that no other animal could achieve. Humans could throw objects with accuracy and force that kept predators at safe distances. A well-thrown rock or spear could injure or kill from ranges where predators couldn't immediately retaliate. This standoff capability fundamentally changed predator-prey dynamics. Fire mastery provided warmth, light, and protection simultaneously. It allowed humans to process foods that would otherwise be inedible, expanding dietary options. It deterred predators from approaching camps. It enabled nighttime activities that kept human minds active and creative. Fire became the centerpiece of human social life and survival strategy. Physical characteristics also played roles. Humans possessed relatively poor olfactory signatures compared to other primates, making them less appealing as prey. Their lean musculature meant less meat reward for the effort required to hunt them. Over time, predators learned that humans represented poor return on investment compared to other prey species. Intelligence remained the decisive factor. Humans could observe patterns, plan complex operations, communicate detailed information, and pass knowledge across generations. Each generation built upon previous innovations, creating cumulative cultural evolution that no other species could match. What one generation learned, the next generation improved and refined. Social cohesion transformed individual intelligence into collective power. A human group was far more than the sum of its members. Specialized roles emerged. Some individuals excelled at hunting, others at tool-making, still others at gathering or childcare. This specialization increased efficiency and created interdependence that strengthened group bonds. Dinopithecus, for all its intelligence and physical prowess, couldn't match this combination of traits. Eventually, the species disappeared from the fossil record, likely driven extinct by the very prey it once terrorized. The hunters had become the hunted, and the age of human dominance had begun. The story of Dinopithecus and early humans reveals a fundamental truth about evolution: no advantage is permanent. For millennia, these giant carnivorous baboons terrorized our ancestors, shaping human behavior through constant predation pressure. But those same pressures drove innovation, cooperation, and cognitive development that eventually reversed the relationship entirely. The prey became predators. The hunted became hunters. Today, we stand as Earth's dominant species not through size or strength, but through intelligence, adaptability, and social cooperation forged in the crucible of Pleistocene survival.